Junior boy, you have a story from Papa.
That's right. I actually have a fart segment I want to bring up in a couple of weeks.
Good.
Stay tuned.
I'm still... It's still brewing though. Pardon the pun.
Unlike the current thing floating around in the atmos.
This happened with father.
Farter.
Farter. Dear
Our
farter.
farter.
Our farter.
Farter.
Fart in heaven.
Yeah. So I recently got a new Sharon.
Oh, yeah.
A new little footy.
Congratulations. You announced it like you announced a new car. It cost
Yeah.
like $30.
15.
Yeah, cool.
I
And
didn't
why'd
buy
you
it.
announce it like it was a Hilux?
But I've been loving kicking it around. Tis the season,
There you
right?
go. Phil's only one objective, and it is to be kicked around.
And Dad,
Must be good. Must be real good. Here we go. Stay tuned.
this is like two kind of part. So Dad, two-parter.
What?
It's
a two-parter.
It's a two-parter.
Okay.
I hope that's only one. Can you warn me before the second farter? Because I'm going to leave.
It's a two-farter about our farter. Anyway, so Dad sits on his like chair out the back, like next to the fence. And we have like a park next to our house.
Yeah.
So like we legit
Niche story, bro. Yeah.
Our
So
block of
outside the
land.
back of our place, we have a big long fence and then a big park over there. And Dad often sits on on a green like garden chair you'd
Yeah.
find at Bunnings.
Yep. Anyway,
He can't see the kid. You're making it sound like he's being weird as well. Like you can't see at the park. He's below the fence
no, he just
line.
smokes his diaries and watches TikToks out there.
There
Right?
you go. And people say, what is the Australian dream? That's it. All right.
Anyway, and then Dad.
Could you imagine trying to explain that to our grandfather, like who has sadly passed away? But could you imagine like explaining that as that's the dream at the minute? Sit out the back and watch TikTok. Try to explain that to like an 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Anyway, so this was like the same day, right? So I'll just give you a bit of a prelude. So I was kicking the Sharon and I was running along like the strip next to our house going onto the park.
Yep.
And it like legit runs like parallel to our fence. So I just kicked the Sharon like trying to get it straight. It's like it's like 1 meter though. Right? Anyway, it sprayed right.
Is anyone with you?
No, but Dad was sitting over on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
And
TikToking away.
he was going in his direction. And I was like, I'm not 100% sure he's sitting there, but that's where he sits for about 12 to 14 hours of the day.
It's playing the loudest AI-generated TikToks you've ever heard right next to the window of my bedroom. Sometimes if I want to like read in my room, I need to put in earplugs.
For fear of hearing some of the latest and greatest trends.
These 5 tricks.
Anyway, so then the Sharon went heading in his direction. And I was like, I think I yelled heads. I can't really remember. But Dad said he like put his hand up and just like stopped it from his face.
His face.
But it was so close to hitting his face. Like he was like, if I didn't look up, I would have been clocked. Yeah,
I would have had the word Sharon tattooed on my forehead.
Anyway, and then about 10, 15 minutes later, I was just kicking the ball by myself at the park. And he brought Poppy over just for a little midday walk.
Yeah, nice.
And I was just like going long, just like trying to get him high and long, but like not get him over the fence, obviously.
Okay.
And then I got it over the fence with our neighbour.
Right.
So the guys who are behind us, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, shocker. So then as Dad was approaching, I was like looking over the fence trying to see the ball. And I couldn't see it. And then I was like trying to jump like up on the fence, but there's like big thorn bushes there. Previously I have just jumped over the fence into their yard.
I've got a few mates who have been in that yard multiple times chasing footies.
Yeah, but
it's a
then, like,
short fence.
But that guy is like retired in the last couple of years, and he's working on his like he's trying to do up a car.
Yeah, he angle grinds his car for many hours a day.
Yeah, legit.
Right next to my room.
Joe hasn't had a full 8 hours sleep
Yeah.
in years.
This
Between
guy.
TikToks are us.
Dad watches TikToks of angle grinding.
Yeah, this guy he angle grinds the fuck out of his car.
Yeah. I'm sure. I don't know
I
what the
can't
hell
wait till he's
doing.
finished that fucking car, bro. It actually has been.
He's run out of metal. He's
Yeah.
angle grinded
Like,
so
He's
much.
trying to sand it down to be a motorbike.
It's going to be a business card by the time
Yeah,
he's
Honestly, the cunt's been grinding that thing for like I reckon like 4 to 5 years. So good on him, but like fucking hell,
So
can't
good
wait.
on
for
I
him
don't
to
know what
finish
he's
that.
trying to achieve.
a new
Happiness.
car.
Just grinding. There's never like a hammer.
It's like his retirement project, but like pick a quieter one.
To
please.
chisel away every piece of metal left on the
Even
planet.
like sometimes I'll go out there on a Friday to record like the stories saying like, oh, the podcast is out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I'll be doing it and I'll be up to my like 14th or 15th take.
Yeah, nice.
And then I'll hear the angle grinder go and I'm like, oh, well, now I can't do it because now he's just going to be listening to me talking about, g'day guys, say the same thing.
No way that
40
guy
times.
can hear anything.
Anyway, so I kicked the ball over the fence. Dad came over with the dog and I was like, he was like, what'd you do? And I was like, what do you reckon? And
Yeah,
then
3 guesses.
And then I was like, well, I can't jump over the fence. He was like, no, he's all right. He's a good bloke. I can't remember his name. It was like John or something. And Dad was like, Jono, we'll just go knock on the door. And I was like, oh, it's only $15. Like, I could just go get a new one. Anyway, we walked out.
Must be very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's all of a sudden.
$15.
But
nothing.
I couldn't hear the angle grinder going. And I
Yeah,
was like,
I wasn't sure if he was on.
we're alive.
That's all he does.
Thought he might have passed. He didn't complete the job.
Flat.
The car.
Maybe he did complete it, and that's his final ode.
Yeah. Anyway.
He's
And
lost
then
all
we walked
focus.
around to the front door and they had like a Ring camera. So they had a camera on the doorbell. So like
Oh, right.
if you ring it, they can see it on their phone.
Yeah, sick.
Anyway, so I rang it, and then Dad was just standing there, and like Poppy was like pissing on their lawn and shit. And then, and then I was like, I've rung it a couple of times and knocked, and I was like, no, they're not home. And Dad was like, that's all right, just open that door.
Just open the door, well, the front door to their
the
house.
garage, or like maybe it was like ajar, or it was like slightly open or something, like just straight to their garage, like not like the actual garage door, just like a little door on the side.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, just break in.
And then he was like, he swung it open. He was like, yeah, just go grab it. He was
Dad
like,
swung it open.
yeah, he was
Just
like,
wanted to get that cleaned for the cops.
and he was like, I can see the ball. Just go get it. And I was like, well, they're probably looking at us on the camera.
Yeah, well, now
right
you've
now.
alerted to them. You've done the
And I
worst
was
thing
like,
possible.
and you know they can hear this, and you know this is recorded, so they're gonna hear this whole dialogue. Anyway,
Yeah, we can.
and then Dad was like, no, just go get it, just go get it. And I was like, all right. And then I walked past, just went and grabbed the ball, kicked the car on the way out, and got the share. And I was like waiting to hear. I was like, this whole week, I was like, I reckon they're gonna like
Come and say something.
yeah, like, well, we walked into our yard. Because obviously they can check the cameras, like they know I'm there. Because it alerts them, it says.
Especially if you rang it. It'll like come up
Yeah,
on their
yeah.
phone and be like, hey, this dude's trying to
But I was just so
oh,
surprised.
scratch that, he's in the garage.
But the main part of this is just I was so surprised how relaxed Dad was for me to just break and enter.
We've had him on the pod.
Just enter.
He was pretty
Yeah.
he was pretty relaxed
What
about
would you
drinking
guys-
and driving and
What did you guys do in that situation? Do you think I was in the right to just go in their house? I felt like I invaded their privacy.
Yeah,
well,
it's
as long as
interesting,
Dad
like, what
opens
would
the
we do
door.
if-
Dad did the breaking, you did the entering. It's
Yeah.
a split conviction.
They can only get you for both. Breaking's not a crime. Entering's not a crime.
Yeah,
yeah, I'd be
that's true.
playing.
What do you
playing
think?
on.
What do you think Dad would do if some kid climbed into our backyard?
Well, I would find that weird. Like if our neighbours who were across the way, who were like young guys, jumped into our backyard to grab something out of our pool, I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
bizarre. It would definitely be bizarre.
Like, I've kicked balls over that way and I haven't jumped into there. Mainly because they're all like 6'5" and I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like the younger you are, the more it's fine.
Yeah.
As kids, we used to send you. We'd throw. This is at our old place. We used to throw a basketball over the fence. There was no way that I was going over as like a 14-year-old, but send Junior Boy, who's 8, knows no better. No worries.
Exactly. You get away with it.
Yeah, you used to fucking just piss around corners.
But yeah, now you got to think about it a little bit.
I wouldn't
more.
have done it, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't surprise anyone.
You